Hello, I'm out of darts. Today I finally am showing off the Proton Pack. I'm calling this one the Tactical Proton Pack. It's based around a Condor backpack, and I've made a couple different versions, but this has been a long time coming, and this design has been a huge pain in my side because there are so many technical challenges when putting this together. This is built around, of course, my trusty Zeus blaster, still one of my favorite blasters to mod. This one has actually had the motors replaced because the new mod and the feed system can feed about 11-12 balls a second, somewhere in that range, and it's so fast that the stock motors, even on 3S LiPo, can't keep up, and the range, the velocity drops too much between shots. So these motors I've replaced with are actually 380 45-35 wind, and you can find these on eBay for a couple bucks a piece, so they're actually really inexpensive. Now, one snag I did hit when I was doing this is that these have spline shafts or tooth shafts, and I had to make an adapter to actually make the spline match up with the flywheel because the shafts are too long, and I haven't been able to find quite what I'm looking for. So this design's been a long time in the making. I have to thank Toruk for his previous work on the hopper method. I've adapted a lot of what he did already and built a larger version. And the biggest thing that he solved for us, and which helped me so much in my design, was power. I was missing just the pure torque that I needed in the motor that's in the spinner. When the Zeus first came out, I made a version of this, the Hurricane, which has been pretty popular. And then, of course, before that, Toruk had done his rival loader, as he calls it. Now, I love this blaster, but with the Nemesis coming out, I thought I had to get back to the Proton Pack and one-up Nerf once again. So this is built around a Condor pack. Now, I chose these packs because they're fairly reasonably priced, and they're really, really well built, so I know it's going to take a beating. I call this a Tactical Proton Pack because I want it to be completely functional and usable in an actual game. These packs are super comfy, super lightweight for how well built they are, and I think they're just a really great value as well. You can find them on the Amazon links below, as well as their description. And thanks, Condor, for sending me the packs. They did send me this one, as well as a smaller version, and I'll have the names and info for both of these. This version here holds about 430, and that's my version from that I used before in the, it's got the same clear container from the other video that I did a few weeks ago. So inside this one, like I said, is a custom built container. I took ABS sheets and I cut them and made a container that's exactly the size of the pack. That way I'm sort of maximizing the capacity of this pack and making it fit really well and still feel comfortable on you. This pack holds 1,250 rounds. It's running on a 3S LiPo. It's a graphene 2200 milliamp hour 3S, and it's got a ton of current available. The feed system is a hybrid of a rotating spinner that's at the base of the pack and an air feed. Throughout the design process, I realized that the air feed wasn't going to be enough to get the balls around a corner, through kinks, up and around the tube. So on this hose are actually two little additional pusher spinners, and they just use a very little cheap geared motor, and I've adapted with a little 3D part. And so those are activated when you hit the firing trigger, which is also electronic. The fire rate at the very end is controlled with a little spinner motor, and it's got a little gear like this that I 3D printed. That's got motor braking with a single pole dual throw switch. So it shorts the motor out every time you let go of the trigger, and that means you've got really controllable, actionable fire control. I can get single shots off with this design. Now, at the same time, when you pull this trigger, these two other gear motors turn on, and that's what actually enables consistent feeding throughout the whole system, because again, the airflow is not enough. Now, I have tested with trying to remove the airflow altogether, but one of the ways that I got my setup firing as fast as it does is that the airflow really helps with the feed. It almost sucks the balls up and shoots them through the tube. So let's just do this quick little firing demo. And I do believe that's my entire load. It's firing very well. As you can see when I went through during the firing test, I dialed this down. This is a pulse width modulator, so it's connected to the electric pusher gear that is feeding the flywheels at the end of the system here. Now that was at least 1,000 rounds. This pack can hold about 1,250 when it's fully maxed out, but I lost quite a few rounds at the last couple games and I'm a little short right now. Aside from the shooting performance, it shoots about 125 feet per second. That is the fastest I've seen on any rival yet. I'm sure someone else has probably pushed it further, but these 380 motors really have a lot of torque. Just like Toruk's solution for motors that he had actually even more powerful. So one of the neat things about these motors, and actually one of the bigger parts other than the performance, is the fact that it can clear a ball that's completely jammed in here, or stuck rather. And Toruk showed this ages ago because he was the first one to do these motor upgrades, and I had never been able to get a flywheel set off without damaging them. I actually did about 3 sets before I did that. So the container is super easy to load. It's just got a little screw top lid and you just dump rounds in there. Though with 1,250 rounds, I'm not sure how much more you'd actually need to carry with you. In the future, I am going to be offering both DIY kits with the 3D parts so you can put together your own, along with links and some sort of build guide to do this. If I have it ready, there will also be a mailing list below for this specific mod when it's ready to go onto the Etsy shop. In the future, other things that I'm really excited to add is I've been talking with Nathaniel Deal. I want to do a 3-digit 7-segment ammo counter, so I can't see my rounds here and how much ammo is here, so I would love to have it active with an IR beam here where I can really, an active counter where I can see exactly how many rounds. Even if it starts at 1,200, I figure the 3-digit can start counting once you get dropped below 999, and that should be pretty sweet. So I'm hoping in the upcoming video I'll have a little bit more on that. I'm also going to play around with doing a gauntlet mount on this and also attaching this to basically like the Here Mini, so you've got like a little mini pistol. And additionally in the future I would really like to add fire control with Arduino so I can do 3-shot burst and go even a little further than just the variable knob. Though this works fairly well, I'm able to turn this down. Now I did play test this about a week and a half ago. I got completely wrecked by the other teams, and I just had a feeding problem that needed to be fixed, and now I've actually been able to solve that. I've still got a lot more tweaks and work to do, but it is functional, and I'm looking forward to playing with this at the June event in Athens, Ohio. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and if you like the content, hit subscribe and turn on the little notification thing. Until next time, I'm out of darts.